Hey guys, I'm going to give you the top 7 questions that you need to be asking when you're looking around for credit repair that'll save you thousands of dollars, fraud, false hope, and wasted time. Look, there's people out there trying to sell toilet paper for 20 bucks a roll, and I don't even say that to be funny or anything. I'm saying this because there's people that are trying to capitalize off our current situation. So this is like the most important time to protect yourself, and one of the ways that you can do this is by knowing what you should and shouldn't ask when you're either in front of somebody or on the phone looking around for credit repair. So now I will just pause right there and say this. You're not going to want to jump to the end of this video. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you have the ability to do so, but you're not going to understand why these questions matter, and it's the why behind it that's going to save you tons and tons of money and wasted time. And like I said, false hope. So watch till the end and don't jump ahead. Some of you might be wondering why any of this matters, why I'm even making this video. Well, we can't minimize what we're trying to accomplish and what's required to get there, right? So that's a disconnect that I see with a lot of people that I do not offer my services to, a lot of people that I do offer my services to. It's just people in general. They know that they are currently here and that they need to get here, but the space between the two things to them is much, much shorter, right? And it's not as important as it really should be, because this is just the one thing that's going to open up that door to the life that you've been trying to live, or the things that you've been trying to get since you were a kid. Right? What did you dream about besides being a fireman or a doctor, or, going into the army or whatever it was, being G.I. Joe or Barbie, right? It was having a house, maybe having children, maybe possibly having a spouse, that great job, that car you want. You're going to, build a house and it's going to be up on that mountain or whatever. But we don't look at the things that are required for us to get there until we're in a position where we cannot go and get those things. So here's 2 examples of what I'm talking about. Let's just say that your credit is in a position where you cannot even open up a bank account, but you're trying to get a $20,000 car loan, and you expect that it's just removing a couple late payments and an inquiry and then that's it. I'm going to go get my car and I'm not going to, whatever, right? Or how about not being able to get a $200 secured credit card, and that's the one where you put your own money on it, but you want a $500,000 mortgage. So the question should really be, why are we not looking at this for what it is? And let's just take it a step further. You are literally, not figuratively, but literally handing over your entire identity to a person or a company. Your position on that should be to not end up in a worse position than you started in, right? So how do you know that when you hand over your ID, your social security card, your proof of address, your credit report, that they're not going to use it for personal or professional, whatever, gain? How do you know that you're handing it over to a legitimate company that's legitimately going to do what you ask them to do? Like, dude, I really need help. I have these negative items. I understand that I screwed up, whatever, but I'm trying to get my life together. I just need for you to do what I hire you to do, right? How do you know? What are you supposed to ask to be able to know that, your money is going in the right hands and that your identity is being handed over to the right person or company? We're going to get into those questions in just a moment. You're just going to charge back when a company doesn't do something that they're supposed to, right? Or that you feel that they didn't do that they were supposed to. It doesn't work like that. Yes, you can contact your bank if you pay debit or credit within the specified time frame and everything, but a chargeback is not going to prevent you from fraud. A chargeback isn't going to prevent you from finding out that somebody on the other side of the world is using your identity, right? It's also not going to protect you from being sent to collections or being sued. And most importantly, it's not friendly fraud. And let's just pause there and go over what friendly fraud is. Friendly fraud, or a chargeback, is actually when you get goods and or services or even money, right? And then you contact your bank to force a refund, right? And banks that provide merchant services to credit repair companies no longer want to offer that because of friendly fraud. On top of the fact that credit repair as a whole, on both sides, the consumers and the businesses, are so fraught with fraud that they just wash their hands of it and they say, we're not going to do this anymore. You guys are right up there with porn and marijuana, right? Go and try to get a merchant account for porn and marijuana. Yeah. Not going to be easy. Not that I have personal experience with that, but anywho, credit repair is right up there. Go look at the terms and conditions and acceptable use policies for any website that offers merchant services, and you're going to see that financial services for credit restoration, credit repair, debt consolidation, any of those things with the word credit in it is not allowed for that reason. So let's just assume that you use debit or credit, right? And you got lucky. That doesn't mean that it's going to protect you, right? And like I said, you can get sued or be sent to collections because, you obtained services from this company or person and you didn't pay for it. And furthermore, let's just say that you don't get sent to collections, right? You got lucky. They forgot about you when it comes to the actual money, and they just said, you know what? I put these disputes in, I did the work, they charged back, which means that they didn't pay for the last 1 or 2 or however many rounds of disputes. I'm not going to let them reap those rewards. So I'm going to void them with the bureaus. What that means is that, and this is not good, what that means is that they're going to contact the credit bureaus as a company and let them know that those 1 or 2 rounds of disputes, whatever it is, however many letters, need to be voided from their system because you didn't pay for them. Now, you might be thinking, so what? I got my money back, right? No. What happens is that when the bureaus find out that you were working with a credit repair company, now more than likely they are, 100% positive they're not going to take you seriously, and you are more than likely going to be blocked from future investigations. You're going to get a response continuously that says, you've been working with a credit repair company. We are no longer going to investigate your disputes. You don't want that. So be careful, hire the right company if you are going to hire a credit repair company to actually do the service. All right. So let's look at a couple of things. All right, I had to pick up my notes. These are the questions you do not want to be asking, right? We're going to go over the questions that you do want to ask in just a second, but these are very important and they're just examples of what you do not want to ask a credit repair company, right? Because we are looking at things that are not centered around the wrong questions. What's the wrong type of question? One that's centered around time, meaning duration, and preference, okay? I want it to be fast. That's a preference, all right? This is just a 90-day program, right? The bureaus have a response time they're legally bound to. So why would it be longer than that? I've been scammed before. You won't do that to me, right? Once these are removed, do I still have to pay them? I know you said 12 months, but if all of these are deleted in less than a year, let's just say 3 months, do I still have to pay you? Okay, so these are the wrong questions because I can easily, if I'm trying to get over on you, I can just easily mirror you, right? And tell you everything that you want to hear because these are preference questions. So what I mean is that if you're asking about being scammed, you're not going to do that to me, right? No, dude, I've been doing this for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You know, I won the Kemosabe Mitsubishi Award 15 years ago for, you know, best hair length. And yeah, no, don't worry about it. This is a fast program, right? I need to get that house. And, you know, I've already been through a program for like an entire year. And I can't waste another year. What? Don't even worry about it. I got you in 60 days. Don't start something off by telling them what it is that you want to hear. You need to start it off by asking the right open-ended questions. Don't ask stuff where they can just repeat to you, right? Like I said, mirror what you want to hear. All right, so here's the point. Nothing that is not open-ended, that I can tell you yes or no, and that I can just flip it around. Now, these are the top 7 questions we have finally arrived. And yes, I still have my notes right here because I'm not going to pause this and try to memorize each of them as I go just for the sake of editing this video. All right, so number 1. And we're going to go over the question and then go over the answer. Will I be able to see the disputes that go out for me? Tell me why this is important. Put it in the comments. I really want your engagement on this. Why is it important for you to see the copies of the disputes that go out on your behalf? If you said, so that I know where my money's going, that's an answer, right? Of course. And that's one of the things that I tell people that I offer my services to. You know where your money's going. You know what's going on with your file. You know that we are on the same page. You can see that what I'm saying is exactly what I'm doing. And in return, I know I'm going to get paid, right? I do the work, you see the work, I get paid. Boom. Wow. So if you go to another company and you're like, when I say another company, if you don't know me, I do this for a living, meaning I fix credit for a living. So if you go to another company and you say, hey, look, I'd like to see round 1 of the disputes that you sent out for me, more than likely you are going to be told that it's either a trade secret or it's confidential information or it is not our policy. It is not our policy. So it's highly possible that you will need to go to the CFPB because of our current global situation. What I mean is that probably within the next 24 months, meaning that from when it started up to 24 months, it's still going to be a convoluted situation, right? Experian has 17,000 people that work in the United States. Equifax has 11,000 people. TransUnion has 7,500 people. And they're only working with a handful of people right now. I'm not talking like 5 people. I'm talking about a small amount of people. They have to test everybody before they bring them back, right? And then you don't know who it affected the most. Is it the people that deal with the mail? Is it people that deal with the disputes? Is it the people that deal with selling information? Is it the people that deal with just databases? Is it who is it? Who is it that's going to come back first? And what's the new process going to be like? And how are they going to change it so that it's worse for me and it's better for me? You have to look at these things. And so that's why I say 24 months, because this is not a situation that's going to be fixed overnight. It's already been months, okay? And obviously they're using it to their advantage. I mean, they just straight out said, go back to my video first week of April about the bureaus saying we're open, things are slow, but we're still accepting disputes. But if you're that worried about your credit, call your creditors and pay your bills, because now we're negotiators and, you know, we think we're your mom and dad and that we have the right to say that. So anywho, it's very likely that you're going to have to go to the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, after you exhaust all your remedies. What that means is that you cannot, listen to me, you cannot just go directly to the CFPB. You can't. You need to be able to prove that you did this, and this, and that during this time that you're doing all these rounds of disputes and that you're disputing all these things and that you're using factual dispute and that you're not sending in templates and that you're being consistent and persistent and patient, that they violated. And then you challenge them and then they violated again. And then you said this, you proved this, and you have to have documentation. And that's one of the things. You have to have a documentation that proves that you exhausted all your remedies prior to going to them. All right. So if you cannot prove by having the copies of the disputes, because you must attach them to your complaint to prove that you're not just freestyling, all right? You're not going to get anywhere. They're going to dismiss it as a baseless and frivolous claim. And you do not want that, because now you're back at square one. So what happens if you go to one of these other companies that don't provide the copies of the disputes, which is basically everybody out there, and you get to the end and you're like, all right, dude, I see you're not going to go to the CFPB for me. I got to go myself. I need the copies of the disputes. You're going to say, you are going to be told by them that it is either not their policy, confidential information, or a trade secret. And if you've seen my previous videos about that, they're acting like they work with the CIA, that you're asking for, this, and they don't work with the aliens, they don't work with the CIA, they're not part of the NSA, they don't keep a cyanide capsule in their teeth, dude. This is not that type of thing. You're asking for something that you paid for that has to do with your personal information. You should be able to see the copies of the disputes. Now, we've gone kind of more into this than I even have on my notes, which is only 4 lines. But the point behind it is that it's number one for a reason. It's one of the most important things that has to do with it. Remember what I said about what are they doing with your personal information? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? All right. Now, if you're paying without seeing the proof of where your money is going, then the question really needs to be, why aren't you doing some self-reflection to find out why you fell for that? All right. And desperation is not an answer to that, because it's common sense. Now, please don't take that as me being judgmental or anything. I preach it in every single video that I put out, proof of services. It's exactly what I provide to my clients. They get the actual copies of the disputes that go out to the credit bureaus. And I do it for many, many reasons. But one of the reasons, besides the fact that you should know what you're paying for, is that I've been there myself. I was the consumer, right? And I wanted to see what was being done, and it wasn't given to me. Right? And that was when I started doing it myself. Okay. So question number 2, will all of my accounts be disputed at once? Or are you going to do them in batches? Once again, are you going to dispute all 24 of my negative items on all 3 bureaus? Or are you only going to do 9 items per bureau per month? So if you're told that disputing all the accounts at the same time is going to give a frivolous response, then they're lying to you. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. I dispute every single account that my clients have, and I do all 3 bureaus at the same time. And not one time since I've been doing this, which goes back way before 2015, has one letter came back saying, because you disputed all these on all of these, blah, 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 it's frivolous. No, dude. The real answer to that is that they are trying to drag you along for as long as humanly possible, so you're with them for months and for years on end, so that they can get as much money out of you as possible, because you are nothing other than a number on a spreadsheet. That's the reason. All right. And then number 3, of course, is what I had already said. Do you do all 3 bureaus at the same time, or are you doing them one at a time? And the answer is the same on this. If they're doing one at a time, for them to say that it's going to come back as frivolous is the same answer as I just gave you for number 2. If you are not disputing them all at the same time, you're going to be in the program longer, which means more money for them, which means a longer time for you, which means number on a spreadsheet. All negative items, all 3 bureaus can be disputed all at once. So do not fall for that. All right. Number 4. Will you be sending out templates? Templates? Are you going to be sending a letter that looks like this? Or like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, or like this? Or do you have a different approach that's going to get me better results? Well, let me just tell you this. The very first thing that happens when your letter gets to the credit bureaus, right, and I'm talking about the facility, is that it is read by a computer, which then tries to figure out what you're trying to say, right? It's going to look at the whole letter and say, has this been received before, either by you or by another person? They look at every word you have on there. When I say they, I'm talking about the computer. It looks at specific sentencing. It looks at the entire letter. It says if it's either in part or in whole or in the phrasing, then it is a template. It is automatically verified. There is no investigation, and you get a response that could possibly say frivolous, and now you are back at square one. Why would you do that? Why would you do that knowing that the very first thing that they do is determine if it's a template or not? And no, don't take this as me yelling at you or judging you or telling you that you're doing the wrong thing if this is the current process that you're going through with someone else. I'm telling you this so that it has nothing to do about leverage, and I'm not selling my services to you. I mean, hey, if you want it done the right way, then you can. You can come to me. Or at least schedule an appointment with me, because I choose every single client that I take on. But the point behind it is that if you are not aware of it, you can't do anything about it, right? If you're driving and you didn't realize you're driving on the wrong side of the road because you didn't realize you drove into another country or something where they drive on the other side of the road, you're not aware of it, and so you didn't know you were doing anything wrong because you were not aware of it. So I bring this awareness to you so that you can do something about it, and you can change your life, you can change your credit, and you can move on and not have to watch videos like this ever again, right? So that's why we do this. You make your own decisions. I'm only here to provide the information, give solutions, and help you along the way. That's what it comes down to. I mean, you watching this video doesn't benefit me, right? The people I get on the phone with and tell them, no, I can't help you. No, it's not going to be 3 months. It's going to be 12 months because of the pandemic. No, it doesn't work like that. No, I'm sorry. Let me explain how it actually works. And, they're sitting there cussing me out, telling me that, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't benefit me, right? Because I'm not looking for a sale. I'm looking for a client. So that's what people don't understand about this, is that none of this benefits me. When that person goes through my program and goes and gets their $1 million house, I don't get invited over for dinner, right? When they go and get their $60,000 car, they don't come pick me up and take me grocery shopping, with my kids, or take me to pick up my kids from school, right? When they get their $10,000 limit credit cards, I don't get a cut off the back end. So that's what I'm saying, that these things don't benefit me. They benefit you. So that's why we're doing this. That's why we're going over these questions, because they're that important for you to understand. And that's why we're spending so long on them. My initial video was only 7 minutes long. We're already at 14 minutes and 22 seconds, and we're not even halfway done. All right. So the bureaus pre-pandemic received 10,000 letters per day per bureau, and if your letter does not get to the point about why you've sent the letter, what you're disputing, why you're disputing it, and what you want the outcome to be, your letter is going to be no different than all of the other 10,000 letters they received that day. And I'm getting this number, like I said, pre-pandemic. Right now it's way more than that. Another thing for you to understand, but anyways, that number was given in testimony in a lawsuit by someone who used to work at Equifax, right? Okay, another one, number 5, is what's my part in this? Do I have to send out letters? Do I have to forward you mail? What do I do? Do I have a part in this? Because if you're hiring someone to do something, you shouldn't be doing the work. You shouldn't be sending out the letters unless, you specifically said, hey, I want to control this, blah, 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 whatever. I don't let my clients send out the letters because I need to control as much as I possibly can about it. But hey, that's just me. This is all done for you program. So anywho, if you don't know what your part in it is, then they can blame everything on you. Well, what do you mean? I gave you the copies of the disputes like you asked. I thought you wanted to send them out yourself. So that's your problem that, there was no investigation this month, right? You need to know how you're going to stay updated. Do you have a client portal like my clients do? Can you log in and see what was disputed, that all your negative items are in dispute? My clients have it say in dispute, all the way down to the very last item. It says in dispute, right? So you need to know if you're going to have something that'll show you what's going on with your file, when your next round is due, so on and so forth. Is it only by email? How am I going to stay updated? And it doesn't have to be a portal. It could be anything for that matter. But I need to know how I'm going to know what you are doing for me, because I'm going to be in the dark otherwise, right? And then lastly, what's the expected duration? I know you can't guarantee me any specific time frame. I know you can't guarantee me anything about my score, but I mean, you can give me a maximum time frame, right? Is your program 3 years? Is it a year? Is it a maximum of 6 months? I mean, can you at least give me that? And one thing that I don't have on here that I'd like to add about that, be careful. Be careful with this question, because a fast way to answer this would be to tell you that you can start to see deletions in as little as 45 days. You can begin to see deletions in as little as 45 days, as well as your score increase. Oh, that sounds great. So in 45 days, nothing happens, right? Well, we just have to do it again. Don't worry about it. It's a process. No, you need to know if you are going to be in this program for X period of time, all right? Now, keep in mind, handwriting is a sales gimmick. Identity theft is illegal. Online disputes remove your rights pursuant to sections 623 and 611. You gave up your right for them to actually forward the copies of anything that you sent over to the creditors or the collectors. You also said that you agree to not suing them, and that you're okay with it coming back on your credit report when it's not in your favor, and a bunch of other stuff that you're just gonna be like, it's verified, it's okay. Notarizing letters is a waste of money, and CFPB complaints are used after exhausting all your remedies, like I said, all right? And then notice, except for when I was explaining something in question number 7, I never once asked a question about scores, and I never once asked a question about deletions. You can't. Nobody can foresee, nobody can force, nobody can make the bureaus do anything. You can't force the bureaus, the creditors, or collectors to delete anything. You can't force your score to go up 100 points. Go and look at, and if I can find it, I'll put it right here. Go and look at the articles about with the CFPB about companies being sued for promising clients specific deletions and specific scoring and blah, blah, blah. And you can't, it's not foreseeable. You can't force them to do anything. You can't force somebody to do something that has no control over. How can they talk for their money? You can't, dude, you can't. If it were as simple as guaranteeing specific deletions in any specific period of time, there would be no small companies like me and like other people that you see on YouTube or any other, place that you can find, because there would be everything in-house with a credit card. The credit card companies would also have their own person who does credit repair. Real estate agents would have their own credit repair person right down the hall. Mortgage lenders would have their own people. Loan officers would have their own people. It would all be in one shot. You get your paperwork done and you dispute the negative items. So when it's done, you get your loan, or you get your house, or you get your credit card, or you get your vehicle, and all your negative items are off and your score is up. Dude, you would be paying based off of what you're trying to obtain. Oh, you're trying to get a $500,000 loan? Okay, well, what's it worth to you? You can't even get a $200 secured card right now, but you want this $500,000 mortgage loan. What's it worth to you? 2%? 5%? 10%? 20%? Well, you can't get it anywhere else right now, so 15% sounds good, right? Wrong, dude. It doesn't happen, or else that's what you would be looking at. That would be the outcome of that, all right? So nobody can foresee these things. It's actually illegal under the Credit Repair Organizations Act, or whatever it's called, that you can't promise things that you cannot guarantee, right? So think about that when you're asking these questions. Do not ask anything about deletions or scores, because nobody knows. The only reason that something can be removed is if it's inaccurate. Go back and watch this video. All right? Because I explain the difference between the Metro 2 format saying inaccurate and the FCRA saying inaccurate, unverifiable, and incomplete. Okay, two totally different things, but you need to go and check this out for you to understand this part. All right, now the best credit repair company is going to offer services that include, and this is part, it's very, very easy, a time cap, right? All your negative items disputed at once. All 3 bureaus disputed at once. No templates or sales gimmicks, copies of disputes, and program transparency. Okay, so I know that everybody doesn't offer these things. Obviously, I do. But that's just me because I'm looking for a client. I don't sell vacuums, right? And once again, no, I'm not selling my services. I am making you aware that this stuff is not out there, and you're not going to know that unless you ask the right questions to protect yourself. You are handing over your identity. You are handing over a piece of you. You can't hand it to just anybody. You can't. It is this is not for somebody that's not going to do their research, okay? So, once again, all negative items disputed every single round with all 3 bureaus using absolutely no templates, no sales gimmicks, gives you the copies of the disputes and program transparency. What is going on with my file? What's going on with my credit report? I need to know so that we are on the same page, right? And each of those questions is a requirement and should not be passed up or traded in for something that you prefer. I prefer a shorter program. I prefer that you and I get on the phone and talk once a week. What's there to talk about when the most expensive thing in the financial industry is time? You're paying them to work. You're not paying them to talk, okay? And that's another part about program transparency. If you were able to see these things instead of someone just telling you, then you wouldn't have questions about it, all right? So now, this whole thing is really, really difficult, guys. This is not an easy process. If anybody sells you an easy process, it is not real. I'm not saying this virtually all the time. I'm saying it 100% of the time. If they make it sound, or they're telling you that it is not hard, then it's not real. All right. Once again, let's go back to the fact that if it were that easy, then number 1, everybody would be doing it, or number 2, nobody would be doing it, because number 3, it would be as simple as going to Walmart, getting your groceries, getting your loan, and getting your credit fixed, right? Let me just put my paperwork in for that. I think I want the $500,000 house right there. And no, Mom, I wanted a number 4. No, I want the Big Mac. Yeah, give me an apple pie. No, I'm sorry. I want the $150,000 one because I just bought apple pie. Dude, no, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that, okay? And if you don't start looking at these things for what they are, if you don't look at this for what it is, the most important thing in your life, especially now, especially with such financial uncertainty, then you're going to end up in a world of pain, and I don't want you to be there. I don't want you to be there, and that's why I do these videos. That's why I stay up and study and, buy the books that I do so that I can give you the information that I do, and why I break things down. And, it's only about 70 hours of my life that I've given up on YouTube and over 300 videos. But let's just extrapolate that by 4, because it's 4 times the amount of recording and studying and researching and creating the video and then editing and then posting and then promoting, right? So think about that. If this was not that important, there wouldn't be so many people. There wouldn't be millions of people. There would not be millions of people that did not pay their credit cards in April. 14.7 million people did not pay their credit cards. 3 million people didn't pay their auto loans. And 1.6 million people, 1.6 million people didn't pay for their mortgages. If it were that easy, then all those people would have been like times 10, because it would be as simple as, it's off my credit report, right? So that was the end of that. And this is the part where I offer at least a phone call with you. All right. So yes, I have a ton of free videos on YouTube. And yes, this is a time when it is the most important to actually do your credit the right way, for the obvious reasons that we've gone over. All you have to do is turn on the news and you're going to see the reason why, right? So Like I said, I have a ton of free videos on YouTube showing you the exact way to do this yourself. All right. Obviously, you know where it is because you are on one of my videos. Okay. It's expert credit sweeps. Okay. Now, if you would like to do this yourself, not a problem whatsoever. I have a ton of free downloads that you can access. Go and check out the rest of my videos. Now, if you are looking for something a little bit more in depth, such as tutorials or whatever, I have a bunch of stuff like that as well. I will put some links down in the description. But if you would like everything that we went over, all your negative items disputed every single round, all 3 bureaus done at the same time, copies of the disputes, program transparency, and no templates, and be able to sleep at night knowing that someone is not selling your identity and sending out templates or doing identity theft, or the cops are going to knock on your door, any of that, then use the link in the description or the one that shows up on your screen and schedule a call with me, and I will see if I can help you. All right. I am one person. I do not offer my services to many people. The ones that I do, it's because I can actually help. So if you would like to see if I can help you, use that link. Otherwise, there's a couple of other things that I need you to do. Number one, if you have not done so, hit the subscribe. All right. It'll change colors once you do. So if the color has not changed, then you need to go and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications, because even if you subscribe, you still will not know when I post a new video. And I don't want you to miss out on stuff, especially right now. Okay. So subscribe, hit that bell, do a like. Share this video. I'm sure that you can save somebody else thousands of dollars just by them knowing the right questions that they need to ask when they get on the phone and they call, one of those other companies. All right. So that is it for this evening. It's been 28 minutes and 17 seconds. So if you made it to the end of this video, I thank you very much. I hope that you actually learned something and that you use the knowledge that I've provided you tonight. And leave me a comment and let me know what you've thought. If you'd like another video, something similar to this, let me know as well, once again, in the comments. And besides that, guys, I will see you tomorrow. We have a couple of things to go over that are very, very important. That's also going to save you a ton of time and money just by knowing. All right, so make sure that you take care of yourself. Please stay safe. Things are getting crazy out there. If you have a curfew, please make sure you do not go outside. All right. That is it from me to you. I hope you have a great evening, and you are about to see my end video. Bye, guys.